Starting in red to the right side of the map is the Prime player. It's Prime time once again. And this time we have one of the youngest players participating in the match. It is the Terran calling himself
Maru Prime.
Not even in his prime yet.
Yep, not yet. On his way. He's up against the Zerg player. Also a very young player. They're both roughly the same height, but Maru is a little bit small.
A little bit shorter, yeah.
And this guy is starting for the TSL team, of course. Yes.
TSL Shine.
Of course, not the other Shine, Brood War player. Shine's got those glasses going on.
Yeah, they're a little bit small for Korean.
Yeah?
Most Koreans like these really heavy rimmed glasses.
Pretty thin rims.
And we have the Drone Scout. The Drone Scout, we mentioned this earlier, that if you Drone Scout and you see that your opponent is going for 14 command center, you can start with double hatchery before pool. Something that he won't do here because we already have the barracks out on the map for his opponent.
Yeah, and he's going to see that as well. We'll be able to see the gas timings. Could be very annoying here. Now, in this group, as you mentioned, Shine needs a win here if he wants to hope to advance. Otherwise, he's not going to have any chance. 0-3 is impossible to advance.
Exactly. 0-3 don't stand a chance at all.
Pool goes down as he sees there is no command center first, verifies this, and will even get out. SV wants to wall him in, but no dice there. Gets out. And the command center actually is not placed before depot, interestingly enough. Gas for Shine. Interesting.
The thing, because why a third loss here is so essential is because Maru would be the one player on 2 wins. Suhoshin already has 2 wins as well, so both of them would in the end have the better score if it comes down to it. Even if Shine wins his last match against Alive. This is the last game that we play today. If it becomes relevant, everything will be determined as soon as Hero and Suhoshin meet each other. Then we have a pretty clear view on the group right now. There are a lot of different tiebreaks that still could happen. But now we have the double gas in the main base of our Terran player. We have the expansion, of course, on the low ground, as already pointed out. And with the double gas here, he can go straight for the factory. To the bottom left, the double queen production. No queen thus far, but gas already something that Shine is getting. The question, of course, being what exactly he plans on doing with it. He still has 1 harvester in the gas, now that he has the 100 gas for the speed. He could still go for a bit of an aggressive build here. There's still a possibility. Find out pretty soon if he tries to go for a longer macro game or if we will see him with aggression on Tildrum or top.
By the way, Maru is putting on some aggression, wants to deny creep with his first 2 Marines, as well as see any reinforcements then move out. This is pretty cool for him. Shine has seen the gas timing in the main with his Overlord. He only saw 1 gas, but when does a Terran player ever take just 1 gas after a 1 Raxus span? It doesn't happen at all. So he knows what's going on. It's very clear to him now that Maru's going to be following this up with Hellion pressure, which he will actually see very soon as well.
You know, we currently don't have additional queens for Shine, and this is a style that a lot of TSL Zergs are really comfortable with, just getting additional queens for the creep spread and also for the defense against the Hellions. He doesn't do that, so if he really wants to defend against Hellion pressure, he needs something. Either Spine Crawlers, a few Zerglings, or he needs, of course, additional queens. So we'll find out what exactly he's going to do here, because right now, he doesn't have anything.
Yeah, he's totally...
And Wolf, he is getting additional Overlords. He has 37 Harvesters. He could
put back in gas.
If he starts a Roach Warren right now, and there it is, starts the Roach Warren, goes for a 3rd base, starts 1 drone. If he stops droning after this, he could also place down a Baneling Nest, but no, he drones a little bit heavier. He will have a few Roaches against his opponent's Hellions. He's not going for some kind of all-in. Could still go for a little bit of Roach aggression flow.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. He wants to build a Roach composition here to begin with, but you know, how much he commits is still yet to be seen. Roach Warren about to finish here. He's got a lot of supply available to make them. Just needs that larva to come out.
Yeah, he doesn't get any harvesters now. He has the lava, he has the resource, he's waiting for the Roach Warren to be completed, and then he will start to build Roaches. There they are, 7, and probably going up to even 9. Just waiting for the additional resources. Could build another one right now.
Yeah. starts Evolution Chambers, though. He's going to be sticking with 8.
Yep, 8 roaches, that's what he sticks to right now. And currently, we have a Banshee. That's the one thing that will help Maru to defend. Those Hellions won't be of much use, but the bunker, of course, being essential here. And also, very well positioned, those supply depots that we have. He's actually moving out right now. He tried to hide his roaches for a second. The third piece has been spotted. And Maru moving out with his force cannot contest the Hellions. And roaches, of course.
He's got to be very careful with these Hellions as well, though. It does react very quickly. +1 Carapace now on the way for Shine and +1 for his Lings. So Maru with the double armory is going to be going into mech here. This is what he's known for. These roaches already face the Banshee as a problem.
But he already pulled back with most of them, so he only has 3 on the map to chase down the Hellions. He sees the Banshee and tries to run away. The rest of them will only be used to defend against Hellion run-bys. Right now, Spore Crawlers are being built, 4 actually. No additional Queens. He has 3 now, 1 at each hatch. Here comes the scan, trying to take down those tumors.
And he gets 2 of them, but loses a Hellion in the process. These Marines are actually so critical because they just add a little bit of extra DPS to this attack. He wants to take out that Spore Crawler so he can fight the roaches on open ground. That's the only thing that's stopping him here.
The Zerglings are already dead, only the roaches left, but the Queen is of course still here in order to provide some anti-air.
Maru needs to put SCVs in those gas. He's going to need a lot of gas for this composition. Oh, wow. The Maru run-by is stopped!
Awesome. Really well done.
So close, though, and that's what Maru is known for. He squeezes Hellions by, man. They have a special butter-like property that the rest of the parent players in this world do not have.
It's just like if his Hellions are a little bit smaller than all the other Hellions and creates through gaps that are so tiny that you would never think a Hellion could
It's a Maru-sized Hellion, man. It's smaller than everybody else's.
Yeah, that's right, but this time that didn't help him at all. He was too close to the edge, and then the Zerglings closed in and made sure that they couldn't escape anymore.
Now Maru's upgrades are going to be pretty good with the timing he's gotten this armory with. Obviously his opponent's upgrades are faster, but these are mech upgrades, so they're so much more important. Those units that are tough to begin with are already pretty cost efficient as long as you can keep them together. Yeah,
the double factory now is on its way, and so far Maru is of course not facing a composition that is designed to take down mech, but the Roach Warren is there, and that will help him a lot.
Nice cancel on this tumor by Shine. The scan reveals that his opponent does not switch to Mutalisk tech, or at least not in his main base.
The Overseer sees, of course, now the additional factories. He knows about the third factory. He saw the Raven. And now we have draw play for Shine as an answer.
And this is so speed smart. And drops immediately after seeing this.
If you think about it, this is actually really great. He already has the Roach Warren, and a good strategy on this map is just the draw play into the main base of the Terran player. And what do you want against the mech army in the mid-game? You want roaches. Huge amount of roaches. So maxing out here on roaches and then going for the drop attack is a really smart strategy by Shine.
And it's a strategy we've seen a lot of Zergs, including TSL Zergs, do in the past against this type of composition. Overseer will be finally taken out. See if he continues his upgrades well. Obviously, the upgrades for roaches are going to be behind because he got +1 for Lings and not roaches, so the mech army is going to be great here. And now all Shine needs to try to deny his opponent is the idea that he is building roaches, because right now Maru probably expects this, but he can't know if his opponent's trying to switch into Mutalisk, for example. He needs to make sure his Overlords are not obviously placed as well, because if Maru realizes what's going on, if he can position his units correctly, then drops are much harder to actually execute.
I don't even think that Maru is necessarily expecting a drop play here, because most Zerg players in TSL have been doing this against Protoss mainly. So let's see how this is going to plan out. If he drops this and is not intercepted by any kind of missile turret arrangement or Thors being in position, then he will do a lot of damage. If he can take down the main base and also the production, that's something that will affect Maru greatly, because mech is just something that is really production based. It's very slow to begin with, and just rebuilding all these factories would be a huge commitment. But the Overlords, if they are spot, then of course Maru knows what's coming. How much anti-air does he actually have? How many Thors are there?
Right now there's only one. He's making none either. He doesn't know this is coming. He scanned, he didn't see a Spire, and he has not really made any more Thors.
Missile turrets though, that's what he's building, and a lot of them.
3 of them to the right side. But that's not going to be enough, especially if he comes into the right side where the turrets are not. He's got them to the south. But there's a huge exposed area, and the center tower is going to reveal everything. So will the Hellions. How quickly can Maru react? I mean, he can pull units into his main, but what type of units does he pull?
Oh, but there's siege tanks in position. Where does he drop? That's the most important part.
He needs to drop in the main, you know? That's where he's weak.
No, he wants to drop on the siege tanks.
He wants to drop on top of them, I suppose, yeah, but He could try to avoid them. It's going to drop on top to trade.
He's dropping on top of the siege tank. The first one is down immediately. The second one dies as well. The army supply for Shine is dropping, but so is Maru's. And
he just has too much here.
Exactly. Shine is doubling Maru's army supply right now. Maru is losing way too much. He's reproducing immediately, but the army supply now 111 against 43.
Yeah, he drops right on those siege tanks. And even though the Banshees are here, even though there was a bunker in play, there's just not enough to hold. I thought he would go for the main to try to hit the production facilities, but this is obviously the better choice.
He's even at the third base taking down SCVs now, and a lot of them, Maru has lost 39 harvesters.
Maru may have lost this game. Point defense drone is helping out against that queen that was over here.
And now another siege tank dies.
Yeah, it just pops out to die.
Wow. 78 supply left for the prime player, 160 for TSL Shine, forcing the command center at the third base to lift. Those Banshees trying their best to keep those roaches at bay, but units are streaming across the map.
Now the Banshees are the reason why the roaches will survive, or rather will not be able to end the game alone, but the reinforcing wings may be the reason that they can finish it. He's got the depot wall, but he's just going to drop over it with his overlords. He doesn't care. The Banshee's starting to really rack up the kills here. One of them at 26 kills, but it doesn't matter because Shine just has too much. Yeah. He's running more across the map. He's got a Spire on the way to switch compositions here. He's going to take out one of these orbitals.
There is definitely too much. He has just so many units at this point in time that it's really there's no way for Maru to deal with this. He's trying to get units into the picture, but if you look at the unit counting station, those Banshees are basically the only thing that he has really going for him. Another siege tank dies, and all these SCVs are just being taken apart by Zerglings and Roaches.
17 workers left, and he's losing all of them. He's now down to 7. 3 repairing the siege tank, and he will keep it alive a little bit longer, but he's not going to be able to stabilize. His economy is too hurt. There's creep all over his main. He can't make any more structures until that's gone. Siege tank falls here. Worker count now down to 4. Shine's taking another base in the middle of the map. There's just no potential to do damage for Maru, no potential to expand. He's got, though, the hidden command center to the top left. That's one thing he has.
Yeah, but that's the only thing, and Shine has now a 4th base in the middle of the map. He has 93 drones, he's building up a huge amount of minerals, he lacks a bit of gas, but here is in just a position where he cannot lose, basically. 42 army supply, that's all that Maru has against 52, and the production, of course, for the Zerg player is just way better. He's spreading creep all over the base of his opponent.
Yeah. And that means no more structures can be made.
He's building 1 Mutalisk to scout. Oh no, actually, no, that's the rest.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, sorry
14
guys.
in total, and
drawing a blank here.
He just knows his opponent's not prepared for this. He's gonna just go wipe out the Banshees. GG.
Maru is in Code A. Shine takes his first win of the day. Maru with 3 losses, only 1 win. Shine still with a chance of having a 3-way tie with Alive and Suoshin. Actually, not with Alive. If he wins against Alive, he's on 2 wins and will have the same amount of wins as Suoshin if he loses. But Suoshin, actually, wow, that's a bit sad. Why? Because Shine is already out.
Yeah. I thought you said that earlier, but Shine doesn't have the ability to get enough points to actually tie with anybody because he already has 2 losses and no one else will have 2 losses. For example, if Hero loses, he's only going to have 1 possible loss here.
Yeah, I said it earlier, but at this point right now, I kind of... The group situation is a little bit complicated, and I fell back into an old calculation that I made, but yeah, Shine is already out. He can tie later on with Suoshin if Suoshin loses now against Hero, but as Suoshin won the direct comparison between Shine and himself, he will advance. So Alive is basically the only player who has still a chance of advancing if Suoshin loses the next game. As already pointed out earlier, the next match is going to be Hero against Suoshin, and Hero already is in Code S. If Suoshin right now wins against Hero, then both of them advance. If Suoshin loses against Hero, then he will be on 2-2. Then Alive could still win against Shine, would be on 2 wins, 2 losses as well. But because Alive won the initial game today against Suoshin, he would advance and not the StarTale player.
And this puts us into a weird situation where Hero, this match is not that important to him. Now I wonder what he will do, because he's up against a very aggressive Zerg. And Hero, knowing that his opponent is aggressive, is going to be in a situation where he may just do something a little bit odd, but at the same time, Suoshin may decide to change up his style entirely and try to play a stronger, better game, because this match really does matter for him.
Yeah, and the same situation occurs in the last game of the day if we have to play it, because the game is not really important anymore to Shine.
Well, Whirlwind is going to be the map, a huge map, a tough map to do Suho aggression on, but we saw him do it in ZVZ.
On the other hand, Shine, of course, in the last game was also once again the player who the match didn't really matter to anymore, so he still won it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, like, oh, it doesn't matter.
It's not like those guys are throwing the matches away. They know how important it is. It's also, of course, about the honor, about winning the matches here and just giving your best in these games.
Alright, map loading. Hero against Suho. It's not on Whirlwind. In fact, it is on Cloud Kingdom. See you guys in the game.